Let me tell you about circles in life. You've heard that phrase that sometimes things in life, they come full circle. Since I'm talking and you're at my Texas TED Talk, I get to define what that means. Let me tell you what it means. It means when God or the universe gives to you a string of events or an amazing single event that you later get to come around in your lifetime to address, to deal with. So let me tell you about two circles in my life that occurred that have brought this hardcore, conservative, law and order prosecutor to be standing in front of you, to be standing in White Houses, to be able to be on, the floor in the Senate, shaking hands with Mitch McConnell and seeking to change the criminal justice system, and what those circles did to allow me, an insignificant individual that came from a small rural town in Utah, who would much rather be at home right now with my horses than I would with a large crowd, but I do it because I love what I do. The first circle that is meaningful in my life, imagine a 12-year-old boy who has an older sister, and that older sister is everything to him. She is the most incredible athlete. She's a 4-sport letterman in high school. She gets a track scholarship to a university. She gets requested to try out for the Olympics. She qualifies for the Olympics in the javelin. Her right arm was this big, and her left arm was this big. And I remember my dad saying, "Honey, you've got to work out your left arm. You're looking odd." She was my hero. She goes to college. She's at a dance. She leaves. She's alone. 3 individuals jump out of a car. They kidnap her. They rape her. And they change the course of our entire family's life. My father and I, at age 12, we drive around the campus looking for the car. She saves her own life by kicking the seat in front of her, jumping out, and running. And back then they had payphones, and she had always remembered my father, who was a former peace officer in LA, told her to always carry a dime in order to call at a payphone. And she called, and she saved her life. I would then, at that point, know I was going to put bad guys in prison. I was going to work in the criminal justice system, and I did. I went to law school. My very first job out of law school, I worked for a judge who was the former U.S. attorney in Utah, and then he helped me get a job in the U.S. attorney's office. I became a federal prosecutor, and I put a lot of people in prison for a long time because the federal system has really long sentences and no parole. I would then go to the halls of Congress, where I would become chief counsel over crime and terrorism issues. I would then draft law and work to pass a signature bill that would clear up DNA backlogs across the country on rape kits. So, thank you. I would then meet President Bush, and I worked on some agenda items that W loved, and he would ask me to be U.S. attorney. I became United States attorney. And I'll never forget when he would come out to Utah and he would talk to me. The very first time we shook hands in Utah, we were standing there and he said, "Brett, are you glad I made you?" And I said, "Sir, are you glad I made you U.S. attorney?" "I did that." I said, "Yes, sir, I'm very glad." The last case as U.S. attorney that I did was to prosecute the kidnapper of Elizabeth Smart. That's a circle in life, right? And guess who advised me on how to deal with, how to connect with, and how to work with Elizabeth? My sister. My sister, who would then thank me for letting her be a part of that circle in my life. So the other circle, what is it? When I'm in law school, I go to law school, and there was this cocky young law student. You know you've met him, right? Undergraduate or law school, you know there's this one confident, kind of cocky law student. Well, we would become very close friends. His name, Mike Lee. Senator Lee. And I would meet him, and my mother would send to me a picture. And she would send to me a picture, and it was a picture of Rex Lee, Mike's father, and my father, who were companions and who were friends and roommates in college. So Mike and I were connected, and to this day we're connected. We text irreverently to each other during hearings when he's there. But that connection would push me to the White House of the Trump administration to work with an individual you may know named Brooke Rawlins. So then for 3 years, I would advise the White House on immigration policy, on criminal justice issues, and I would learn something so valuable, and that was that the criminal justice system in this country is being sacrificed, right, on the altar of politics. Thank you, Julie. Julie gave me that line, my deputy director. I love it. But it's so true. And you would see the far left that's saying, let them all out and defund the police. And you'd see the right that says, lock them all up and all criminals should be locked away forever. 1 in 3 individuals, so look at your table, 1 in 3 individuals has a criminal record. You know who you are, right? An honest one here. So we would know and we would see that across this great nation, there are criminal justice systems that are not operating correctly. There are things that aren't working right. Very few of you probably know that if you are in a federal case, you get indicted, and you were charged with 35 crimes, and you were acquitted by a jury of 34, but 1 crime you were convicted of, guess what? When you go to sentencing, you're sentenced on all 35 crimes. And people say, how is that possible? It's unconstitutional. You're right, it is. And that's why there's work to be done. But let me tell you what I don't trust. I don't trust the left to change the criminal justice system the right way. Because they do it based on emotion. They want to defund, or they want to push criminals out into the streets. Right on Crime is dedicated, and I'm honored to be leading this great team and this great campaign of TPPF to change our criminal justice system in a way that preserves safety in our communities, but doesn't forget my sister Dana, and doesn't forget Elizabeth. So please, when you see us, and we have the odd badge that says Right on Crime instead of TPPF, we are one of their largest campaigns and their most important campaign. So I'll leave you with this. Find out those circles in your life that you need to engage in, and let God or the universe or karma or your spouse lead you into that ability to change this world in a way that is better and perhaps the way that you were supposed to do it. Thank you.